All right. Well, thank you for joining us today. This is our third episode of May Financial Friday, where we are going to be talking about credit today. My name is Amber.
I'm Elisa.
And we have Miss Celeste here from Choice One helping us out today. Thank you for all of
you
your
for having me.
expertise. So we are going to be asking a question, and I will go ahead and let Elisa ask our expert.
Yes. So we hear usually when we do classes and whatnot, we're out in the community, that some people say, just don't use credit. Just not using credit is the best way. What are your thoughts about that? And what's your experience with that as well? Yeah.
Okay.
Is it a good thing to not use credit at all?
So, not using credit could be seen as how I say it as a double edged sword. Because, first of all, when you're not using credit, you're really learning how to budget and live off of your income, right? So, you know how to plan ahead of time. However, if you are looking to make a large purchase and you don't have any credit, you don't have enough money to make that purchase. Lenders look at your credit history. So, yes, maybe it's teaching you how to save. And sometimes I've been to a couple of restaurants where they said, will this be on your card or are you paying cash? And if I'm paying cash, I get a discount rate. We all love
Right.
discounts, right?
Yeah.
So there's a time not to use credit and a time to use credit. So use the credit to your advantage, and then not to use it when you can, save on perks. One thing too is, say for instance, employment. I know when I started at Choice One Bank, they ran my credit. Because your credit history is huge, whether you're working at a financial institution or the government. They pull that. So they don't care that, you have all this money that you saved up and you just want to pay cash for everything. It doesn't show any history.
Yeah.
Also, if you're going to look to, rent a home or an apartment, they pull your credit history. When I started driving myself, that was the one thing. I was on my parents' insurance, and then you reach a certain age, and like, okay, you're on your own now.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at what the insurance people were looking at to say, all right, and that my credit score was on it. Well, I was, young. I didn't have much credit. And I'm like, hold up, why are you? So there's benefits, to having your credit cards. I would never say not to have any. Even if you have one card and you want to charge, let's say, streaming is really big right now. Get your credit card. Have your streaming on there monthly. You know what that cost is? Pay it off.
Yeah.
That's still generating you credit history.
Yeah.
I do that
Yeah.
as well. I went through a series, what was it? No, it was last year, where I was trying to figure out where my spending leaks were, and subscriptions were where my spending leaks were. I wasn't keeping track of them, and I said, okay, how do I get them all to be, on one thing, so I just pay it all at once instead of different times in a
Yes,
month.
yes.
So I put them all on a credit card, which, by the way, I figured out it was a lot more than I thought it was. I was like, I don't need Paramount. I don't need certain subscriptions, right?
Oh, you didn't cancel Paramount. I'm a huge fan of Paramount.
So little birdie told me Paramount and Netflix are actually, or was it HBO? One of them are like combining together. So I already have the one that they're combining to. Unfortunately, the other one is going to go up.
Well, but yes,
Unfortunately.
yes. Smart move.
But I was like, okay, so I have all of these ones. I have like Prime, I have all of that. And I'm like, okay, let me just put them all on a credit card. So that way, whenever the bill comes, I can just be like, there we go.
Well, yes.
So I'm so glad that you brought that up. So it's like, I'm not crazy. I'm not the only one that does that. But I do tell people, though, like, if you have to have a credit card, put at least, like, get gas with it or something. Something that you know that you can pay
Yes.
the next month that you're anticipating and you know how much it is.
Yes.
Just something very simple.
Well, exactly. Because lenders aren't looking at how much you're charging.
Right.
They just want to see how responsible you
Yeah.
are with your charging. Because if you get up too high, then again, you're overextending yourself, your debt. And they may see you as high risk, because that's when that red flag comes up.
Yeah.
Yeah. And sometimes I feel like people don't know. Well, they say, I don't use credit, but they have student loans. Or I don't use credit, but I have, medical bills.
Bills,
That is
yes.
credit.
Yes.
It might be
Yeah.
negative, but it is credit, right?
Yes.
So,
Yes.
so I
It
feel like,
affects you.
yeah, it's one of those big things, right?
Yeah. I think it also comes back to like not trusting banks as well too, which this is
Yes.
not. We could talk really into like banking and stuff like that, obviously. But I really do think that people that say not using credit is a good thing. I don't use credit. I think that is a trust issue as well
Yes,
too
yes.
with banks, which I totally get.
That-
I understand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I like to, say to people, I understand maybe you or a family member had a bad history, whether it's a bank or a credit union. But do your research, number one. Secondly, when you are building your credit and you have good credit, you can walk in there with confidence.
Yeah.
You can know, here's what the market rate is right now. Here's where my credit score is. And that way you already have an idea. Because if you walk into an institution and you have a great lender, they're going to do everything that they can, and they're going to give you the best offer that they can give you based off of what your credit history is. And they're not going to just charge you like a payday lending place.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, you're right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you. Thank you very much. And feel free to follow us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and watch us every week.